here because the outside world rejects you.
Are you gonna give a big speech or something? The whole "I am Bishop, I hate chaos" thing from before?
What? No, we're here to exterminate the mutants, not talk to them.
We can hear you.
Loud and clear, man.
Wait, did you just say you want to exterminate us?
Yeah, I mean, maybe you don't recognize us. Remember those heroes who saved the city? That's us.
Hey, what's up everyone? Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is about to drop on Paramount Plus on August 9th, so Friday, and I wanted to go ahead and put this quick video together discussing the latest new clips that have dropped for this series and break them down. These new clips they've released are very revealing for how the show will be kicking off and really encapsulates everything you need to know going in. In this video, we will be speculating, things like that, so a bit of a spoiler warning as we jump in. We're just kind of gonna put together clues and stuff like that, so we may spoil some stuff in doing so. But let's go ahead, waste no time. There's actually quite a bit of clips that they released, and let's take a look at everything you need to know going into the new show.
Oh, you think you're heroes? Your mere existence is a threat to humanity.
Oh, yeah, we're doing the speech. Hey, just a quick question though. Mutant guys, how did you actually get to be mutants? It was something to do with your blood, right?
Quiet, Rod.
Alright, so first up, you see this scene here at the docks with the Turtles, Bishop, and Rod. We had gotten a shorter version of this clip previously, but now we got like the full scene, so we can see exactly what's going on here. We see that the character of Rod, at least at this point in the story, is working for Bishop, although he doesn't seem very hostile towards the Turtles, at least as much as Bishop is. He's more just curious about them. He asks Bishop if they could keep the orange one alive, talking about Michelangelo. You see later in the clip that Bishop tells the Turtles that their mere existence is a threat to humanity and that she, Bishop, wants to exterminate the Turtles. And you see her deploy the Mechazoids at the Turtles in this scene. And the Turtles try to fight back against them, but you see that they can't even make a dent. These things are super durable. At one point in the clip, we get Leonardo starting to develop some leadership skills as the Turtles begin to get overwhelmed by the Mechazoids. He develops a plan to get the Turtles out of this mess, and he begins to tell the Turtles what they need to do. You see his plan begin to unfold, but that's where this clip here ends.
Got it. Mikey! The lady, her name was Bishop. She's controlling these things. Can you get up there and distract her?
Yeah, Mikey. Tell her a joke.
That was sarcasm, wasn't it? Raph! Get the Mechazoids to follow you to the center of the yard!
What are you trying to get me, murked?
Guys! This is really bad.
Let's go ahead and jump into this other clip that they released. And the next few clips we're going to talk about here, each focuses on one of the Turtles. And this seems to be after the Turtles get split up, which was something they mentioned in one of the early synopsises for the show, that the Turtles will be split up and have to be on these adventures on their own. Anyways, let's go ahead and talk about this Leonardo clip. It starts off what looks like shortly after the previous dock scene that we just discussed. It's almost like Leonardo's plan went into action at the docks, and it eventually leads to some type of an explosion. It's possible that this launches the Turtles to different parts of the city, because after this explosion, it shows Leonardo landing in a dumpster within an alley. Leo calls out for his brothers, but he can't find them. You next see police heading over to the scene of the explosion, and Leonardo's just like, this is not good. You then find out that Leonardo is not alone in the alley. One of the robots appears to have landed there with him and begins chasing Leo. The scene next cuts over to some rooftops where the chase continues, but eventually Leonardo begins to fight the robot, kind of how we saw in previous clips that were revealed. Leonardo tries to do some ninja moves on it, but the robot learns ninjutsu by watching Leonardo and starts fighting back. Eventually, Leonardo tricks the robot by throwing some ninja stars at it. He makes it seem like he's only going to throw two, and so the robot catches them, one in each hand, but then Leo throws a surprise third one, which hits the robot in its camera eye. While the robot is disorientated, Leonardo hides in a water tower and waits for the robot to leave. Afterwards, we see that Leonardo comes out, and we see that he's worried. He's never been out on his own like this without his brothers. He also begins to worry that if any of the other Turtles are in a similar situation, that he hopes they don't lead the robots back to the lair.
Hopefully they didn't go back to the lair. If anyone led those Mechazoid things back there, they'd find Dad. I need help, but...
Hey, try using your inner monologue, pal.
I'm a mutant, you know what that means? It means you're about to get a world-class beatdown and...
My name's Hun.
What?
My name's Hun. not Gigantor.
We next jump over to Raphael's new scene, and his starts off very similarly to the way Leonardo's clip did. They're at the docks fighting the robots, and it looks like at one point one of the robots gets really big. Raphael tries to attack it, but it's just too big, and we hear a voice tell Raphael that all his brothers' butts will be kicked because he couldn't save them. And you can tell that this kind of gets to Raphael. You can see that it's very important to him to feel like a protector to his brothers. Anyways, he's overmatched here, and the robot stomps down on Raphael, and it cuts to black. Now, I'm not sure exactly what happens next, but it looks like after Raphael got knocked out by the robot and broke some of his ribs, as we can see here, he wakes up in a trailer of a truck, likely there near the docks where he was just at. We see that the purple dragons brought him in there. Maybe they saw what was going on and pulled Raphael away to see what he is. You can hear them like inspecting his body and stuff as he's waking up. Raphael is tied up with an extension cord, which he easily breaks out of. He tells them to tell him who they are, but then we see that the truck arrives at a warehouse. Raphael falls out of the truck, and we see an even bigger member of the purple dragon standing outside of it. He hits Raphael in the head with a brick, knocking Raphael out again. Raphael now wakes up a second time, but now he's in the warehouse that they just pulled up to, where it looks like inside they do something with chickens, like chicken farming or something like that. You can see that Raphael's rib injury is getting worse as Raphael tries to shoo away some of the chickens. Here we see that big purple dragon guy again, and he tells Raphael to stop, that he's upsetting the chickens. And we see the big guy put these little fake arms on the chickens. Raphael asks him what he's doing, and the guy says it's so that the chickens can protect themselves. This is all weird to Raphael, and so he starts squaring up to fight the guy. He begins to run towards him, but he quickly finds out that his foot is chained down. The purple dragon guy tells him to stop, that he doesn't want to have to hurt him again. And this is when you find out that this guy's name is Hun. So yeah, this is our version of Hun of the purple dragons in this version of the Ninja Turtles. As many of you know, in past iterations of the Turtles, Hun is the leader of the purple dragons. It's not quite clear though if it's the same case here. He doesn't seem completely like a villain. In this, he almost seems more like a gentle giant that's following a villain's orders, almost like he doesn't want to be there, but he has to. At least that's what I got a little bit by the way he was talking. This is when someone riding a purple dragon motorcycle bursts into the warehouse. We see that it's the character of Angel, but for this version of the Ninja Turtles, Angel has also been a member of the purple dragons in previous versions of the TMNT. You see her and Hun argue a little bit about bringing the motorcycle into the warehouse, that it scares the chickens, and you kind of get the sense that they're both kind of co-leading the purple dragons, likely under someone more sinister, as they seem more like just regular teenagers or young adults bickering with each other. Anyways, Raphael hears enough of it and breaks his chain from the floor and begins swinging it at them, knocking out some of the purple dragons. Angel and Hun jump into the fight, and Hun lands a devastating blow with the brick to Raphael's broken rib. Raph is frozen in agony, and we see that he gets tied up again.
Come on, Angel. We talked about this.
This is my baby. I'm not leaving it outside. Crime around here is crazy.
Where am I supposed to go?
I'm open to suggestions.
I'm your hostage, bro!
You're not a hostage. I keep telling you this. You are free to leave.
Yeah, okay, I'm not falling for that!
We next jump over to the new Michelangelo scene that was released, and we see that he's with the character Rod, and they're both driving in a garbage truck trying to get away from one of the robots from the docks. Rod asks Michelangelo where he should drive to, that Michelangelo should tell him because he took Rod as a hostage. Michelangelo tells him that he's not a hostage, but Rod says that he's not falling for that. So yeah, you get the sense here that Rod is kind of a dummy. The robot catches the truck and lands on their windshield. Here we see Michelangelo use the lifter for the garbage truck to pin the robot down for a little bit while he and Rod get away. They end up in an alley where Rod thinks Michelangelo is going to kill him, but Michelangelo says that he was just trying to save him and that he's been trying to save him this whole time. And we see Michelangelo look at the explosion off in the distance that we saw Leonardo looking at in his clip. We then see this sketch style flashback, kind of how we saw in the Mutant Mayhem movie, and we're seeing what happened at the docks. It looks like after Leonardo's plan, the Turtles may have inadvertently blown up a sizable chunk of New York, and that also during all that, the robots, although only programmed to attack mutants, started going after Rod, a human. So that's when Michelangelo had to save him. Rod remembers what happened, and you see him start to begin to trust Michelangelo. And you also see that he's kind of a big fan of the mutants. He tells Michelangelo that he always wanted to meet a mutant. Michelangelo tells him that the robot is still out there, so that they have to be careful and they have to keep moving. Later here in the scene, you find out that Bishop actually works for Rod's dad, that Rod's dad is actually super rich and pays for all of her robotics robotics. No doubt his dad is going to be a pivotal character at some point if I had to guess, although at this point we don't know who he is, we'll just have to wait and see. Michelangelo is relieved to hear that Bishop works for Rod's father. He tells Rod that all he has to do is call his dad to make Bishop stop going after the turtles. Rod agrees, but only under one condition: if Michelangelo will make Rod into a mutant. He starts looking at Michelangelo's arm, talking about the mutagen in his blood. Michelangelo says a human turning mutant can't be done, which up until this point I think is true. I don't think we have seen a human getting mutated in this continuity yet, so we'll see if it's possible when they get to that point. But yeah, Michelangelo says he doesn't want to do it. He says it would be too irresponsible, but then we see Rod offers Michelangelo $1 million. Plus, he will also call his dad to call off Bishop. This gets Michelangelo's attention, and so he agrees. But that's where this clip ends.
It's one phone call away.
I can't. It's too irresponsible. Leo always says...
I'll throw in $1 million.
I'm in.
For the book jacket.
Can you focus here? We're all in danger right now. The Mechazoid that's tracking me, it's still out there. It's super dangerous.
We next jump over to the new Donatello scene that was dropped. We see that Donatello is in custody at a police station that's in a subway station. Some of the cops are taking selfies with him, but Don's more worried about the Mechazoids that are tracking him. He tells them that they're all in danger, but the cops don't take him seriously. They grab a robot arm that Donatello likely broke off of the Mechazoid, and they start goofing off with it, but then it starts beeping. It must work like a beacon or something, because the robot suddenly breaks through the ceiling of the police station. The police try to tase it and take it down, and while they're preoccupied, Donatello steals the handcuff keys off of one of the cops and uncuffs himself. Don says his phone broke, and so he steals one of the cops' laptops and is about to sneak out, but then he sees that the robot grabs one of the cops, and so Donatello throws something at the robot and tells him that if the robot wants him to come get him. And then we see a chase ensues in the subway station. We see at one point that Donatello is able to hide from the robot, but we see that Bishop, who is at her headquarters, has remote access to the security cameras in the subway station, and she sees Donatello and where he's hiding, and so she gives the robot directions on how to get Donatello. The chase begins again, and Donatello tries to make it through one of those access gates at the subway trains. He is able to make it through just in time as the robot catches up to him, and because the robot was running so fast, it impales itself on the gate. We see that the light in the robot's eyes go out, and so it appears that Donatello has defeated it, but we'll see, because we've seen other scenes with Donatello fighting a robot just like this inside of one of the actual subway trains, so maybe the fight will continue. We'll see.
That's what you get for not buying a ticket. Oh man, nobody's ever around to hear my sickest burns.
Next, let's take a look at some episode titles and episode descriptions as they were recently revealed online. Let's see if there's any new info here that we can pull from. First up, we see that Season 1, Episode 1 will be titled Leonardo Stands Alone. And then you see the description there says, the Ninja Turtles are on the run and are alone. Leonardo is a leader who is without anyone to lead. Leo has to stop Bishop and her Mechazoids while trying to save his brothers. Then we have Season 1, Episode 2, Mikey Does the Right Thing. And then the description on this one reads, to save his brothers, Mikey needs the help of Bishop's intern, Rod. But Rod wants something in return. He wants to be turned into a mutant. Then we have Episode 3, and it's titled, Raph Thinks It Through. The description reads, Raph's strength won't save him when he's caught between the Mechazoids and the notorious street gang known as the Purple Dragons. Raph's going to have to use his head to get out. Then we have Episode 4, which is titled, Donnie Hangs Tough, and its description reads, it's a battle of the wits between Donnie and Bishop as he races through the NYC subway system to stop her evil Mechazoids, discovering how do you beat an AI that counters every move. So yeah, so far, the clips that we talked about earlier all seem to be from episodes 1 through 4. Then after that, it seems like we're entering uncharted waters here. So episode 5 is called Bishop Makes Her Move, and the description for this episode is pretty simple. All it says is the origin of the woman called Bishop. That's it. That's the description. So it sounds like that one's going to be a flashback episode or something. We jump over to episode 6, and this one is titled Night of the Mechazoids. The description on this one reads, the turtles take the fight to Bishop, but she's ready for them. The Mechazoids go out of control. So yeah, it says the turtles take the fight to Bishop, so maybe they're reunited by episode 6, although here in later episode titles, it does seem like they kind of go off on their own missions again, so we'll see. Episode 7 is titled Wrath versus Water, and the description here says the turtles and mutanimals are caught in the storm of the century. When a new group of sea mutants threatens the city, Raph will be forced to use his words to save the day. Interesting. We'll be getting the mutanimals back. I think they're talking about all those mutants that we saw in the Mutant Mayhem movie that ended up teaming up with the turtles. Then we have episode 8 here titled Mikey Takes Charge, and the description there reads, Mikey and Genghis Frog are sent into the storm on a supply run to the local market when they encounter the electrifying Lee the Eel, which is a character that we have seen revealed and talked about before. The description continues, it says, now Mikey has to step up and be a leader. Next, let's move on to episode 9's title. This one's called Splinter and April Fight a Goldfish. The description for this one reads, when the lair floods, April goes to save Splinter, but he won't leave the sewer. To make matters worse, the mutant called Goldfin comes in with a warning of staying out of his way, or else. Goldfin is also a character that was recently revealed. The character is actually being played by Timothy Oliphant. Then we have episode 10, which is titled Donnie Goes Deep. The description on this one says, Donnie and Wingnut go to restore power to the lair, but get trapped by the East River 3. These characters here that we saw revealed a couple weeks ago. The water is rising and they're not alone. There's a monster down there with them. Next, we jump over to episode 11, which is titled Leonardo Saddles Up. The description on this one says, the mutant seahorse called Mustang Sally, who I believe is being played by Danny Trejo, by the way, is going to flood the city, and the only things standing in his way are Leo and Pigeon Pete. Being the leader isn't all what it's cracked up to be. And then lastly here, episode 12 is called The Pearl, and its description reads, the East River 3 are on the verge of victory. The turtles and mutanimals must team up to stop them, but not everything is as it seems. They need to discover what is the Pearl and why does Goldfin want it. So yeah, those are all the episode titles and descriptions. It does appear that the first half of the season is the turtles dealing with Bishop, and the second half of the season is the turtles dealing with this storm and all these aquatic mutants like Goldfin, Mustang Sally, who looks like a seahorse, and the East River 3. So yeah, it definitely looks like the series is going to be split up into two distinct halves. And as they've been saying here in the promotion of the show, it does appear that they will be dropping all 12 episodes at once. So it's almost like we're getting one big giant Turtles movie, which I found surprising. I thought they were going to be releasing these weekly. But yeah, that's everything you need to know going in. Hopefully now you got a good roadmap of what to expect when the show comes out. This thing drops literally tomorrow as of the time of when this video is coming out. So for those seeing this video after August 9th, the show is already out. Make sure to go check it out and then come back here and check out our breakdown of season 1 when it drops. We'll be recording that as soon as the series comes out. But yeah, thank you everybody again for watching. Subscribe if you're new, follow on all the socials. We'll see you in a little bit with another video. Take care.